Good morning. Terry Collins here for Central Coast Community News. I'm joined today by Paula Martin, who is the Regional Director for New South Wales Business Chamber Central Coast Region. Now, Paula's a fairly new appointment. I think just last year she was appointed. She's here today to highlight just what the Chamber does and some of the Chamber's concerns leading up to the March 23 state election. Paula, thank you for joining us. Welcome.
Good morning and thank you for having me.
I wonder if you could first give the viewers a little bit of a background into what New South Wales Business Chamber does, what its role is in the region, working with the local chambers.
Well, New South Wales Business Chamber is a peak industry body representing the needs of businesses in the area of skills, business improvement, international trade, and general matters that affect the productivity and the profitability of business. We work with our very special alliance local chambers in the Peninsula Chamber, the Gosford Erina Chamber, and also the Wyong Chamber to work with the members of those chambers to equally support them with issues that affect their staffing, their red tape issues, anything that really affects the effective running of their business.
Okay. Now, I know with the election coming up in March, you have some areas of concern specifically around small business, and I know that you're asking candidates to make various pledges in regard to business concessions. Would you like to tell us a bit about that?
Sure. So New South Wales Business Chamber represents nearly 2,000 businesses on the Central Coast, covering from the north right down to the south, the entire region. And our members are telling us that they're really suffering in the areas of skills development. So we're calling on both parties to explore different activities that we believe will help to fill not only the skills shortage gap, but also to address the skills misalignment that we're seeing right here on the Central Coast. So starting with a call for 20,000 apprentices to be made available to really boost our local economy in the areas where we have specialties such as the food sector, the health sector, the manufacturing sector. We've already seen that the construction boom, and this is a once in a generation opportunity for New South Wales. The construction boom led by the massive investment in infrastructure across New South Wales has been really good for the Central Coast, particularly in the vocational trades. But we are seeing gaps in the manufacturing and the food industries and the emerging health industry as well for roles where youth can apply for apprenticeships and traineeships. So we're calling on 20,000 apprenticeships to be made for us to take advantage of. Now, earlier I talked about a skill misalignment. We're quite concerned, our members in particular are concerned, that those youths that are applying for jobs that are in market here on the coast have got gaps in what we're calling future-proof skills. Skills like communication, problem solving, innovation, leadership skills, team skills. So we're calling on TAFE to review and overhaul its curriculum so that when students leave their courses, they've got the appropriate skills for the jobs of the future that our industry is creating, and there seems to be a mismatch in terms of the relevancy of those skills to the jobs that are in market. So TAFE really need to overhaul that curriculum for skills of the future. And the second thing about TAFE is that it's incredibly difficult for students to actually enrol into the TAFE courses. So we want TAFE to overhaul its application process and really simplify it for our young students. The third issue that we're looking at in relation to skills is that our youth are fairly disengaged. Unfortunately, the Central Coast has got a high degree of youth disengagement. So we've got nearly 5,000 youths looking for work and completely disengaged in looking for a job. So we want a calling on both parties to implement a $100 million youth re-engagement fund that will provide coaching, mentoring, motivation and skills to get our youth excited about the skills of the future, and then go and attend or explore a careers hub that we can establish right here on the coast, industry-led, that will show them where the future of these wonderful industries that we're creating on the Central Coast of jobs that they can go for.
Oh, it sounds like a fabulous idea to me. We've long been concerned about our youth unemployment rates. When you speak of the apprenticeships you'd like to be made available, are you talking in terms of the government funding those apprenticeships?
That's right. So we want the government to make available an additional 20,000 apprenticeships and traineeships for our disengaged youth to have options to explore and get jobs right here on the Central Coast. We have a serious skills drainage that leaves every day to either Sydney or to Newcastle. Our role at New South Wales Business Chamber is to encourage investment and business growth so that jobs remain right here on the Central Coast and our youths have got opportunities to actually get jobs right here on the coast rather than consider leaving for Sydney or for Newcastle to get their first or second job.
I think we'd all applaud that, especially those of us who are parents would like to see more job opportunities opening up for our children coming up. Fabulous. I believe you've got some other concerns relating to small business themselves. I know you've mentioned to me previously that you're making inroads to have the tax threshold changed. You were suggesting to me that the overheads are crippling our small businesses. So what sort of demands are you making along those lines?
We're calling on the payroll tax threshold to be increased to $1 million, and we understand that the Labor Party is calling for a rollback to $850,000. That represents a $13,200 operational impost on a small business, and we're talking around 1,500 Central Coast businesses will be affected by that rollback to $850,000. They simply can't afford that level of operational cost and red tape, and simply what it will do is it will challenge their opportunity to hire more people and to invest in their business. So it's really important that both parties consider operational costs like payroll tax thresholds, also to consider other operational imposts like energy costs. So our members have told us that energy is their all-time nearly #1 operational cost. And we're calling on both parties to consider a removal of tax levies on their energy bills to relieve that red tape impost and allow our members to reinvest back into people and into the growth of their business to bring that to life. We worked with Meals on Wheels right here in Tuggerah to help them to assess where and how they could cut their energy costs. We've managed to save them $11,000. This is a not-for-profit that is providing a valuable community service to elderly residents in our Central Coast region, and that $11,000 for them means that they can produce more meals, they can reinvest back into their marketing so that their brand gets even further into the community. It will do absolute wonders for their business. So both parties need to look at ways that they can assist small business to reduce ridiculous energy costs that seem to be rising.
Well, you're certainly championing our small businesses and our young people needing skills and work. I believe you're going to put the hard questions to some of our candidates in the upcoming election. You have a candidates forum organised for March, I understand.
Yes, so on the 19th of March, we're hosting a networking evening where we have invited both candidates, the existing member and the candidate for the entrance, to come along and really share their views on what they believe they can do to boost the economy of the entrance region. We've invited all parties and all members across the Central Coast to come along, but this is really an opportunity for our business community to understand what parties are doing to assist them to cut costs, to grow their business, to find the right skills that they have, and to really take advantage of this massive infrastructure boom and how they can translate that to new contracts won, new jobs being created. So that's on the 19th of March at Mingara, and we encourage all businesses to attend.
Okay, and I'm sure they'll be able to get the details on the Chamber's website.
Correct.
If they
Just
wanted
go
to
New
attend.
South Wales Business Chamber website, and the event is there to register.
Okay, well, it's certainly going to be a very interesting election on March 23. With some of these issues hopefully being addressed by the major parties before we go to the polls. So I'd like to thank you, Paula Martin, for your time this morning.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
And good luck at the forum that you're having on the 19th.
Thank you.